A spear gun just went through my friend's head. We're in a lake, in First Lake. Please go.
I remember going into the water. I remember my friend loading the spear guns. He was putting the string under, it takes the string under the trigger. And I was right next to him on top of in a rock. And the next thing I saw was just falling over to the water. And
he came off the elevator and then threw into the recess bay with the spear sticking out of his head, and he was awake and talking. So normally when somebody has an injury to the brain, the first thing we want to do as quickly as we can is get him to the CT scanner so we can get pictures of the brain and see exactly what's going on so the neurosurgeons can determine what, if anything, needs to be done.
And lucky for him, it went in on the right side of his head, just above the eye, and actually emerged back in. So we're seeing the spear going right through the patient's head, and the tip of the spear is actually out through the back of the skull.
The problem with him was the spear was sticking out, 3 feet out of his head, and it was longer than the circumference of the CT scanner where they slide in and out of it. So we had to figure out how to shorten the spear.
EMS folks brought in their Jaws of Life machine, the cutter. We were able to cut the spear. We held it with a vice grip that was holding it from moving. Then when he was scanned, we were able to show there was no blood clot around the spear, thank goodness. It had somehow missed the main blood vessels. And the dad was able to tell us that the tip of the spear could unscrew from the shaft. Hugely important information. Because if we're faced with the idea of having to pull out a spear, the barb's open, and that would just destroy his brain.
Well, fortunately, that didn't happen, and the outcome, all things considered for him, I think was about as good as you could hope for.
Once the patient is stable from a medical standpoint, there's a seamless transition between the trauma service and the rehab service.
I couldn't eat, I couldn't talk. It was same as with the foot, it was step by step and just taking a little bit at a time.
He had some significant weakness on one side of his body, so occupational therapy was working on his arms, physical therapy was working on his legs, and in speech therapy we're working on gaining back his memory, his reasoning skills, as well as his swallowing abilities.
She just made it like fun in a way for him to encourage me and to be able to achieve the goals that we had towards us. Well, I'm thankful for the team who received me here at Jackson because they transformed me pretty much from what I was when I got here to who I am today.
He's a miracle because think of what a spear like that can do to a fish, but it didn't do it to him.
He is fully recovered, he attends college, he's working, so he is living a normal life.